First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody to our first podcast. The very first podcast that I've ever done in my lifetime. And the name of this podcast will be Life, Liberty, Happiness. It's hosted by Brian Sly, myself, produced by Woody Watts.
Hello, yes.
That's Woody. Woody will chime in through and tell me when to be quiet and when to keep talking. And so anyway, this show is going to be just to kind of give a background on kind of why we decided to do it. I think we've always thought the small towns are the backbone of our country. And so we thought maybe we'd do a podcast about small towns, talk about current events, topics, things like that, get involvement from the public, and then just, have guests from time to time and grow it and see where it goes. So, again, the show itself will be about local, small towns, the ins and outs of it. I personally believe that Bedford is a prototype for what a small town is. It's got the good, the bad, and then those things in between. There are times where, obviously living in a small town, everybody knows everybody. But I think for me, when I first moved here, which was, for those of the people who don't know, it's not like I'm from a foreign land. I'm from Campbell County, right down the street. Woody,
I'm from Amherst. Grew up in Amherst County, not the town of Amherst, even the even more rural part.
Correct.
Of Amherst, and then later on Nelson. So
okay,
small town is where it's been at for me.
Right. So to some people who live in Bedford, you're from up north. I mean, it's like
I'm a northerner to Bedford people.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, So anyway, one of the things for me that attracted me is I've always enjoyed history. So to me, the benefit of being in a small town and knowing everybody, you literally can go back. You can go back to the Bedford boys, kind of connect. Like one of the cool things we have about the Bedford Cemetery here is you have markers that mark where Bedford boys are buried within the cemetery.
Yeah.
But it's kind of neat to walk through it, see those, and like look beside, like who's buried beside them.
Yeah.
And then when you go read different books about the Bedford boys or Bedford itself, you start to see these families were neighbors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like,
Yep.
like I said, it's a small town and everybody knows everybody, but at the same time, it's kind of neat that the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah.
Like there's different generations now, but they're the same people. And you're like,
It's the
whoa.
same. It's like that. What is that thing with Kevin Bacon? 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yes.
It is like 7 degrees of Bedford, and that is no joke. Because you're talking with, especially, we can get into this in another episode. Me moving my business up here, and talking to people, getting the history. Literally, Bedford is connected with just about everything you know. Yeah. Everything you hear, like all around the state and even outside, like Bedford pops up in just the least expected places.
Right. I mean, D-Day is a prime example. Who would have ever thought that this... And listen, we're going to have shows later on where D-Day is a topic. And believe it or not, it's not all positive. Like, there are people here that aren't happy that we're associated with D-Day.
Yeah.
There's some people say, well, the numbers are what, but that's for a later argument.
Yeah.
And the cool part about this show is we're not doing this for a, political leaning this way, political. It's just, here it is. There are always two sides to every story. So we're never going to just show one side. So same thing with D-Day. I think it's a positive, but there's going to be people who may talk about it in a negative way. And, we need to listen to that. So anyway, that's for the future. But that's kind of the way we wanted to start this podcast would be about things like that. Yeah. So first part of the show, we'll get into what I call current events, current news. So the biggest issue that I think Bedford faces currently is communication.
Yeah.
Now that's difficult because Lynchburg, you've got ABC, WSET, so you've got an outlet there. You got radio stations, blah blah blah. You've got same thing in Roanoke, and we're kind of wedged in between. And while Roanoke and Lynchburg try to cover Bedford, like they have,
Yeah.
it's hard. Like when I moved my business here, everybody always says, you advertise. Well, we did advertising in the paper. We did advertising, social media, news, everything. And it just you still see, like 4 years later, you were still getting people to say, oh, I didn't know that was in town. I had no idea. And you're like, other short of me coming to your house.
Yeah.
And again, there was a time when door-to-door sales was extremely effective. And maybe Bedford is just stuck in that time machine. But that's one of the things that, so current news, I thought, is a way for us to kind of get things out there. And again, let people chew on it, spit it back out towards us. So here's what happened this weekend that I'm sure people do not know anything about, which I think is a positive. But we'll talk about, out of those three, what is probably the most important and what will be talked about more than of those three. So here's the very first thing. Council had a scheduled meeting on Saturday. It's something that was planned a long time ago. I want to say 6 months ago. And it was a visioning meeting. And so it was a continued meeting from our regular scheduled meeting on last Tuesday. So basically, over the last 4 years, council has sort of budgeted and worked hard to kind of pinch pennies, knowing that they wanted to do some projects in the future. So we're kind of at that stage. So council met and voted to move forward with 3 new projects. And I think it's very exciting. The first is a brand new Bedford Police Department.
Much well-deserved and much needed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know where they were before, but I want to say they're currently in the bottom of the town municipal building, and they've been there since 1972. I have no idea where they were before.
Yeah.
So for them, this is huge. A brand new police department. I think it's great. It's needed. I think it will make us more efficient. We have a lot of issues there as far as turnover, blah, 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 and we're fixing those. Town council's fixing those. So this is just one step in the right direction, I think. The second part of that is a 4-story parking garage.
Man.
Again, another important piece. I think it's been talked about. I asked one of the questions on Saturday to one of the other council members who was previously on council back in 2004 era. And I said, was there any discussion then? And he said, yeah. I mean, it was a major discussion in 2004.
Yeah.
Here we are, 2020, and we're still discussing it. But this council moved forward with, let's not talk about it anymore. Let's get something done. So we'll kind of talk a little bit about that, where that's going. So police department, parking garage, and last but not least, a brand new farmer's market.
Man. Y'all had a good weekend.
We had a great weekend.
It was a great weekend.
It was kind of odd because we all kind of got along, and
Kumbaya.
like a lot of people think we just kind of do what everybody else, and there's a lot of discussion between us. We don't all agree with each other. But in this time and era, the way things are politically, it's crazy how efficient town council is right now. We differ a lot from each other, but we all seem to somehow work together to get an end result. I don't think it's not a secret that there are some that are really scared about the money commitment here.
Yeah.
So we're working out some things there to make it extremely efficient. We have good council members who are able to help that along. So we won't get into that because, again, don't want to make it a political issue. Just kind of want to give, hey, here's what's coming. Let you guys chew on it. Now, here's the thing that I think is funny. And just being on council, this will crack you up. It does me. Out of those 3 things,
Yeah.
the most controversial that we will get more comments on will be the farmers market.
Oh man. See, all right, so you were showing me the location for the farmers market, right?
Correct.
And you were showing me where the parking garage is and then where the police department is,
Yes.
right? And all this, for those listening who don't have a map in front of them, they're all kind of grouped together.
Correct.
Right? And it all just makes sense.
Correct.
Right? So from a person coming from Lynchburg, and if you don't know Lynchburg, they're being revitalized, but their main issue is parking. Parking, construction, everything's kind of jumbled up. You got to walk 5 blocks to get to the farmer's market. It's just kind of annoying. Mm-hmm. For the people that live there, it's fine, and they've kind of adapted. But for the people that you want coming into town, you want visitors coming through, you circle around twice, you're done, right? So when you showed me the spots for these, I was excited because I'm like, man, one is close to where we are. Yeah. But 2, I mean, you're getting like a whole new block basically.
Yes.
Down there in Bedford, down right there.
That's one of the things that I think people don't understand is it's not just, we don't, spin a wheel and say, that looks good. I mean, there's a lot of thought. And again, this goes back to this council actually differs with each other, but we end up coming up with a solution that kind of makes sense. So I think the reason farmers market's going to be a hot topic is, one, it's currently located somewhere else.
Yeah.
So there's going to be those people that go, why move it?
It's not new, basically. It's
correct.
Like,
And there's a lot of people that look, it has struggled over the years. Now I think it's back to being popular, and they're going to be like, why change it and screw everything up? Yeah. But there's there's a process to it. So if you're going to build a new parking garage, which it had to happen eventually.
Yeah.
Where we're doing it is directly behind the courthouse. It is property the town currently owns, and it currently is a parking lot.
Yeah.
We're just going 4 stories up with it.
Yeah.
So we're going to work with the county to try to build a crosswalk that will connect the parking garage to the courthouse, the courtyard area outside of the entrance to the courthouse. So that connects down below to Main Street.
Yeah.
So it allows that. It allows parking for the courthouse and other things. So it sort of made sense to put it right there. It now puts what is a disadvantage, which is our heels.
Yeah.
Now it makes it an advantage because now we have an elevator, stairs, whatever, and plenty of parking.
Yeah.
So in doing so, beside that lot is another lot that the town owns, which made perfect sense to put a police department there.
Yeah.
It's close enough to get anywhere we want to get. The streets for them to go left or right is, it's almost perfect for them. They don't have to be, on Main Street.
No.
It's not something people are window shopping to go to a police department. I mean,
hey, can you help me? No, but it is like where this is really convenient. Though it's like within a second they're on this street, they're on this street. While they're not necessarily hidden, but it was area that was not utilized really for anything.
Correct. Yeah.
It was just kind of like there.
Yeah.
And then by putting them there, they're I don't want to say in the center of town, but they're within 4 steps of wherever they need to be.
It made sense.
Yeah.
And so the last piece of the puzzle was farmers market. So there's a couple of reasons that went behind this. The first was, now that we're kind of creating this area, the area that was left was this green space that was going to be the train stop. However, since the railroad kind of said, listen, we can't have a crossing, which is right here on Grove Street, near the train stop, so we're going to have to move the train stop. So it was like, all right, we're not going to get rid of the crossing because it connects, one side to the other. So, by the way, it's the only crossing in the town.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really. Yeah, there's none because the other one's a bridge.
Correct. Yeah. So in this particular case, it was like, no, we're not going to do that. So they moved that down. So it was like, okay, let's move farmers market here. So again, just moving farmers market is not what we were looking to do. This is what made sense. Where farmers market is currently, it's on a hill and backs up to sort of the back of a parking lot.
Yeah.
And I've already had relatives, including my wife, that it makes no sense to move it. So if you actually go and look at a map, flat, you're looking straight down,
Bird's eye view.
and you go from center of Bedford or Main Street and Bridge Street, it's not that different.
Yeah. It's just like almost mirrored.
Correct.
On the other
It
side of
is,
town.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's not like you're moving it from a vital downtown area to a not vital. It's literally behind one building, whereas now it's behind one. I mean, you're not that far away. So
Well, and I will add too that where it's at currently, not knocking the location, it's like for in-town people, it's where it's at, right? It can be a little hard to find though. It's kind of tucked away.
Yes.
It's kind of like if it were to expand or grow, your parking is limited there.
Yes.
And with the new location, the only thing I can think of is that it does give it room to breathe. So that if you have a ton of people, which people are like once COVID's ever done with, people will come back in droves, that you want that room, because that is one criticism. And I'm not criticizing, I don't want to spend my time criticizing Lynchburg, but like when you ride by and it is like a ton of cars in the parking lot, you just keep going. And I feel like where it's at currently, that could be a problem. But where the new location is, you've got plenty of room. Yeah. And you got a little green space too. It's like just right by the tracks, kind of cozy, in a new area that's nothing was going on anyway.
Yep. And so all right, so the thought process behind this was, all right, so if we were to move it where we're talking about moving it, it now opens up the area where the farmer's market currently is to new development.
Oh yeah.
And there's something that hasn't happened in a long time. So now it becomes an economic venture of, okay, now we can sort of market this piece as, hey, this is an area that you can develop that brand new.
And it is good. It is a good location if something did go there.
Correct.
It's right
For
on the
development.
street, sidewalk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you can curb your development to sort of fit the slope that's there now. And I keep bringing up the slope because I've been there.
Yeah.
They used to try to have events there, and it's like everybody's sitting on an angle looking at each other, and it's just difficult. Whereas moving it down, I think is going to help.
Yep.
But also it allows, so right now, okay, farmers don't stop. Everything's year round. Farmers market year round. So the issue you're going to have is wintertime comes around. What they currently have is just a wide open structure. Now, every year, Public Works tries to go over there and put some plastic up to try to, in this, we can make the new venue enclosed, like put roll-up doors, possibly, things like that.
Oh, man, that'd be
Then
nice.
all of a sudden, you have a brand new farmer's market that I think is going to do multiple things. It'll allow the people who are utilizing it a better space, people who are going to come to it, all the parking they can handle and more.
Yep.
And so, again, I think it's going to be, out of those three things, it's going to be the one that everybody goes nuts over.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that, to be honest with you. And that's part of the process. Is I think a lot of people think that council isn't involved with the community, where I can tell you, I know for a fact that council wants the community to be more involved. Like a quick little backstory. When we were doing the gateway signage out on 460, we hired a firm, and they brought in a specialist out of South Carolina to help us do some rebranding. And so we kind of put a committee together. And that committee not only was in charge of trying to shape the branding, but we ended up having like 3 public hearings on it because we wanted input.
Yeah.
Out of the 3 public hearings we had on it, I want to say we had a maximum of maybe combined 10 people.
Yeah.
And 4 of those were probably part of the committee that came up with the, right?
Yeah.
So after it was all said and done, a year later, we're now finally getting to the point where they've put the branding together, and now they've come up with a design for the sign, And we kind of started that process of, okay, here's the sign. This is what we're going to be building. And then all of a sudden we started getting these comments.
Yeah.
Well, who approved this? And nobody asked the public about it. And it's like, really? We put through a pretty lengthy process here. And so it goes back to the communication. We're trying, but we're only going to be as successful as the community wants.
Yeah.
We've got to have the feedback. And I encourage people all the time. Like this is my 4th year, and I want to say we've been full, or the council chambers has been full twice. And I'm trying to remember what it was for. One of them was the civic signs. And I don't want to get into that because that did not go well. But that was one time it was full, and the other time I can't remember what the other one was.
Yeah.
But I was shocked, and it may have been retirements. Somebody was retiring, something.
And they invited a bunch of people.
Oh no, you know what it was? It was the middle school. It was.
Oh yeah.
When we were finally ready to move forward. No, it wasn't moving forward. It was when we took the proposals at the beginning. We had 3 proposals, and it was sort of they were there to do their presentation, and the public was there. So half of the galley was people doing the presentation.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't full. But
anytime you have a middle school conversation, though.
Well, yeah. And it's,
for some reason, that's the one.
Well, yes, but I mean, we've had other topics that I think were way more important that would shape things that we want feedback and could get nothing. And it's like, I promise you, here's the one thing that aggravates me more than anything. Like, I could literally never hear the word again and be happy. And it's used by every person that runs for any sort of political office. Transparency.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wonderful term to use as if you're this great communicator and you're going to unleash the secrets that are getting done behind closed doors, right?
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that these people meet secretly and they're shaping the way our town looks with no involvement. And I can tell you that is the farthest thing from the truth. It literally is. I don't know how many times we've actually done ourselves disservice because this is said at least once a month by our town manager. It doesn't require a public hearing, but you're welcome to.
Yeah. And
so I would say half of the decisions we make don't require a public hearing, but we do it anyway. And there are times we have to go into closed session or council goes into closed session. There are no votes taken in closed session.
Yeah.
There are no looks given to each other. There's no winks. There's no, we're going to come out of here and be on the same page. None of that happens.
Yeah.
Usually it's a sensitive subject of personnel, possibly.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want, I remember Lynchburg. I used to go to all the Lynchburg council meetings.
Yeah.
Because I apparently have absolutely no life whatsoever. But I would go there, and one of the things they decided to do, because, again, they had candidates that had gotten elected off of transparency. So they were going to do school board appointments, and the interviews were going to be live at a council meeting.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah. Oh.
If you go to do an interview, a job interview, you want it live telecast on
Lord,
TV?
No, not at all.
Okay, nobody else does
Nobody
either.
does. Nobody, no.
So why do you think this is a good idea?
Yeah.
It's not a good idea. So there are times where personnel, things that are, that everybody doesn't need to know. There are certain things that just need to be kept quiet. And that's usually what goes on in a closed session. The other thing, and just to clear it up, I'm not ever going to discuss what because that's the reason you go in closed session.
That's it, yeah.
But there are sensitive things like whenever you're looking at purchasing property or selling property. I worked for a client years ago they were a free clinic, right? That was the service they provided, health clinic. And they were looking at expanding like 4 different locations. And one of their locations, they were looking at a building, right? And they had hired a real estate agent who was going to keep it quiet.
Yeah.
Right? So here's the transparency issue. So that real estate agent didn't do a very good job. The client found out who was looking at the property.
Yeah.
It literally went from $100,000 to $400,000 overnight.
I see.
So that's the reason why.
Well, you remember back in the day, Walt Disney. That's why.
Right.
That's why he snatched up half of Florida.
Correct.
On the low key because of stuff like that, and that's like why there are instances where closed sessions and discussions need to be made.
Sure.
And I do the live streaming. I get it. Like you got it. Like you've got an audience there, and it's So I completely understand.
Yeah,
that.
and so anyway, that's one of the. It's a little off topic, but it's the transparency. It's just one of those things where I promise you. Again, I go back to we're trying to figure out a way to get things out more, not keep it hidden.
No, well, and we had this discussion, like a year ago. And part of my thing is doing the marketing, and we've had this how there are so many outlets where you can, and that's why I think Bedford, you can tell that you all are trying to get more community involvement just because of the fact that, well, heck, I'm up here.
Yeah.
That's one of the things where you want live streams, you want on social media, you want this, because you are craving feedback that has not been there before.
Yeah, and I like this podcast. It's not. It has nothing to do with town council. It's just if we can find a better way to communicate and give people an avenue, heck, we'll share the heck out of it. Give news, whatever we have to do. So moving on, getting out of those current events, kind of roll into really what our show is all about, which is small town. And so, again, kind of right now we're just doing the podcast. Eventually we'd like to grow it to where it's live. And callers, maybe we'll time have a short period for caller. But more than that, we want to open up a communication line with probably emails, things like that, where we can bring it up live and go over things. So that'll be in the future. We're working towards that. Right now, we're just starting this. So one of the things I wanted to touch on before we finish was economic development. It's constantly a term, again, thrown around. Economic development is so complicated, it's not even funny. Like there are so many aspects of it. There's so many ways it can go. Like every small town, is made this big major factory, right?
Yeah.
The major factory shuts down for whatever reason, your whole town just is crippled.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think, well, you're better off with 50 businesses that are 50 employees or more than one business that employs thousands. And that's true, and it's a balance there. Yeah. Because where one business is, you pretty much are putting out one prototype of person that you're looking for, kind of, sort of.
I got you.
50 different are having 50 different talents,
Yep.
So but that's just one aspect of it. The other aspect is workforce development. The other aspect of it is, do you have the talent that these companies are looking for?
Yeah.
So I was driving back from Louisiana, and I'm coming through Alabama, and I forget what interstate it is, but driving along, and I look over, and there's this massive Mercedes-Benz dealership.
Yeah.
Or manufacturer. It's huge. And then off to the left of it is a museum, Mercedes-Benz Museum. So when I get back to town, I Google it. It is in a town smaller than Bedford. Literally, I think it had 2 cop cars. It had 4 cops within the town limits. 2 of them, one was a chief, it was like an assistant or a lieutenant, and then 2 patrolmen. That was it. And it was tiny. But it was between two bigger cities,
Yeah.
not Mobile, Tuscaloosa and I forget the other one. Anyway, but not that much difference between a Roanoke and a Lynchburg.
Yeah.
So you start figuring, how in the heck do they pull this off?
Yeah.
And there's different ways. So with economic development, the town has a coordinator, Mary Zirkle.
Yep.
And I swear to you, I hear this. What does she do? Okay, there's a lot. There's a lot of talking that goes behind the scenes. There's a lot of thought process that goes into it. But there are challenges that a small town has to pulling in economic development. The biggest issue we have that we have to fix is, and I don't think people understand this, whether you're Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter. If you don't have someone representing you from this area that has the experience to be able to push economic development this way, it's always going to be gobbled up. You hear the complaint all the time, Northern Virginia gets everything. Well, until we start getting representation from this area, and that's not to say that current people, Steve Newman or Terry Austin, don't do their job. It's just to say we don't have enough of them that are saying, hey, what are you doing for this area?
Yeah.
And so we've got to have that. And when people vote, I don't think they take those things into consideration.
Yeah. You need that voice that will bring up the aspects of Bedford that are so good.
But you got to have the clout too.
Yeah.
I mean,
you got to have a.
How often do
some
we?
weight
Well,
behind
these
it.
people are in office forever. Well, you know what? If you vote in a new person every 4 years, they're not going to be anywhere.
No, that you can't get anywhere. You spin your wheels.
Yeah, you're
the new guy.
You're starting all over every time.
Yep.
So it's something that needs to change here for us. That's one thing. That's just one aspect of it. There is so much other when it comes to economic development. So that's one thing we can touch on, and eventually I think we'll have guests to sort of go over the hurdles, but also the advantages. We have massive advantages that I think others don't have.
Yeah.
We don't have an interstate. However, we do have talent very close. You have Liberty University. What is it? University of Lynchburg.
Lynchburg College to the OG people.
To the people who actually attended there
Yes.
and didn't graduate, but did.
Yes.
Go there. So you have that. You have Sweetbriar. You have Randolph-Macon. You have Roanoke College. Hollins. I mean,
And you have Centra there too. I mean, you've got some really big
but
kind of
that's what I'm saying.
stable.
You don't have. It's not like we're so far away that we can't draw talent.
No, and I mean, and for those, if you are listening outside of Bedford, I mean, anything in Lynchburg's 20 minutes from anywhere, so it doesn't matter.
Yes, that's always the joke.
It's and so Bedford is basically 25 minutes from Lynchburg. So really, you go up one or two roads. There's two ways. So I mean, growing up, I always kind of included Bedford in Lynchburg Forest in that area. Like it was always in my mind. Like if you're going that way, you're basically in Bedford.
Yeah. Well, the joke that it's not a joke. The line that we always use is all roads lead through Bedford.
That's
So, and that's not. While it's a good saying, it also is true.
Yeah.
You're not going to get to Roanoke without going through Bedford on 460. Can't get to Lynchburg without going through Bedford on 460. Well, if you're coming from Forest, you're taking 221, you got to go through Bedford in order to get to Roanoke. Same thing if you're going to Smith Mountain Lake. You're coming through Bedford.
Everything
the
leads
peaks, everything comes through here. And so we have that advantage. The biggest thing that we've got to get, the hurdle we've got to get over, is we oftentimes think that Bedford is the only way we can survive is off of Bedford. It's like, and I talk about this all the time, that you put yourself in someone's shoes. I don't know if you're like me. When I go to the beach, by day 2, I'm like, all right, I've sat on this deck long enough. I have had a few rum and cokes or whatever, and I'm ready to move on to something different. So I start driving, or I Google something or something to try to figure out something to do, right? And typically it involves a small town. If I'm at the Outer Banks, it's going over to Manio. whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
You're always within like an hour or two
Correct.
of your hub, but you venture out every day.
So how well do we market Bedford if you're visiting the lake, right?
Yeah.
You laugh at this, but I'm telling you, these conversations have been had.
Yeah.
So we need to do a better job of marketing at Smith Mountain Lake to let people know you have this beautiful place to visit in Bedford, right?
Yep.
And the response that I have gotten many times is, oh, most people that go to the lake are from Bedford. And I'm just like, are you serious? You know, if you, do they not know that a family from Vermont comes down and spends a whole week at the lake? It's like a lot of people don't understand that.
No, and one of the funny things is that we were up there, this was I think about a year ago. I was up there filming a commercial in a pizza place, right? Mm-hmm. Right outside downtown Manita, right? Mm-hmm. Pizza place there. We were filming, and I was waiting for people to come in, pick up their orders, and get 3 of the people that came in on a random Friday night that we were filming were all out of state. They were 3 different families that came in, and like you said, one of them was from Vermont, all of them from up north.
Yep.
But it was the same. Like I was like, "Do you mind if we film you real quick?" Where are you from? And then one of them was from Michigan. It was like, well, "Are you kidding me?" Like people have this mental thing where it's like, "Oh yeah, everybody that lives in Lynchburg and Bedford, they're the only ones to go to." Like that's absolutely not true. No. Look at the mega mansions on there. They're from people that So absolutely, it's a tourist.
Yeah, and so area economic development, I mean, it's always the chicken before the egg. Which one, it's because you can't attract business here unless we have the workforce to provide the businesses.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's if you have a bunch of people here waiting for, and so it's like which one's which. Now, you and I have talked about this before. We need to do a better job attracting a higher income to live here.
Yep.
And it's easily done because I tell people all the time, if we can find some land in Bedford, in the town, which it's here, that you could put a high-end gated community in.
Beautiful land.
Correct.
Beautiful land.
And make it a high-end gated community with $400,000 homes. The look I get is, ain't nobody from around here going, I don't want people from Bedford moving in it. They're already living here. I want the wealthy couple or whatever from Lynchburg that is like, have you been to Bedford? Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. Wouldn't you want to live there? Yeah, but there's a new development. And that person that is in Roanoke. It's not a 2-hour commute.
No.
It is a 25-minute commute.
And the thing is that Lynchburg has going for it now is you got Liberty, and they're blowing up. But their families moving down. They're people who go to Liberty who stay here. Then their families come down here. And now Lynchburg has this real estate bubble where, a house that was $200,000 a couple of years ago is $500,000 now.
Yes.
And so the one thing that Bedford, it would be excellent. Like you said, if you had a couple of subdivisions, because that's what me and my wife are. We really don't, Lynchburg's getting too expensive for one, but we want that small town, but I don't want to be 2 hours out in the middle of the woods, and Bedford fits that.
Yep.
And so like you're exactly right. For people that are going to Liberty alone, just go by Liberty, right? You got kids in Liberty, you want to move down here, and you have a family moving down here. Imagine, like you said, a gated community, 30-ish minutes from that, views of the peak, small, quaint little town, and you're just outside of that busy, because there's a lot of traffic in Lynchburg now.
Yep.
It's almost the best of both worlds.
Yep.
Because then you got Roanoke up here.
Yep.
You got the lake to the left, and then you get the peaks to the right.
Yep. And you've got a downtown that you eventually knew will be a parking garage. You can come down. You can walk all over the place. You can walk home, most likely. And it has everything you can think of.
Yeah.
Like when we're looking at how we have to write an ordinance to control livestock, like you're in a great town because people still have livestock.
They still have livestock.
So it's like that's how great it is here. It is. We're running out of time, but one of the things I wanted to kind of touch on was to get involvement in the podcast, we're going to have this thing called Who's in the Club and Who's Out. So we're going to encourage people who've listened to this podcast to comment. Do not be afraid to be rude, ugly, doesn't matter. So you and I will go through these, and we'll pick a couple to be on air, and
I'm excited.
We'll decide, who's gonna be part of the club and who's, you're
No filter. Don't have a filter.
no, you're not worth having on our show because this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like I always talk, Facebook or whatever. Like people judge how policy is made through Facebook, and it's like everybody has an opinion on Facebook.
Oh my gosh!
And what cracks me up about that is, like literally and I laugh about them because a person can come on, make a comment on Facebook, and literally contradict themselves on their replies to people who don't agree with them.
Exactly.
And I laugh at it because it's like, I'll give you an example. When the whole Jerry Falwell thing blew up, right? And I won't get into that. I'm saying
That's a whole nother
is,
six miniseries.
Oh yeah,
six-part
the
miniseries.
attacks just came out like vicious, right?
Yeah.
And these are the same people who literally are saying when people are attacking them, right?
Yeah.
They're saying, why are you attacking me? And it's like, you are attacking him.
You're literally doing the same thing people are doing to you.
You don't want done to you what you are currently doing to him.
Yep.
So it's like, just stop. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
So do we have somewhere off people who listen to this first podcast they can send questions to?
They will. Yes. The first one. All right. So do me a favor. If you go to my website, wattscreativestudios.com. For right now, the next one we'll have a whole web
Yeah,
page.
we'll get all that set up. But for right now, we want.
For right now,
we're going to know whether this is going to work or not.
It's either my mom just listening or it's going to be. My mom will email me. She's always good about that. But email right on the website, and then by the next one, we'll have a whole new thing.
So they just go to
wattscreativestudios.com and then hit contact. And then right there, that's all you got to do. Yep. And you can leave the message. There's a contact form there. You leave your name, your email, and message. And if you want to make up a name, that's fine too.
Yes,
we don't do a background
It doesn't
check.
have to be personal. It's just, and it doesn't have to be funny. It can be serious. Now listen, don't get angry if we make it funny and you're serious.
You gotta have tough skin.
Listen, yes, if you're going to be angry that you're not part of the club, tough. I don't care.
Yeah.
But it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be one of those things. Like, I went to a conference one time, and it was not Harrison, but Bridgewater. And the town manager of Bridgewater was saying they became extremely successful and things started to go into place when their community started engaging, right?
Exactly.
And he said one of the things they published was a booklet every quarter. And on the back part of the booklet, they had given a 1-800 number for people to call and complain. Well, each quarter when they produced that booklet, they put the top 10 calls, and they usually were the funniest, right?
That's great.
And like people were leaving messages, where is the best yard sales on weekends? And it's like, you're calling your town municipal building and asking them where.
I love it.
And so we get like last year.
Yeah.
They thought the town had canceled Halloween.
Oh my gosh, you got to bring Christy on here because if you bring up Halloween, she has a vein in her head that starts.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Oh
crazy.
my gosh, yeah.
Like literally, we were getting questions of, we want Halloween canceled and move it to good weather. They like, we don't regulate Halloween. So what do you think's happening this year? Right? We went through this whole thing last year.
Yeah.
We don't regulate Halloween. It's your thing.
Yep.
It's your thing.
Your thing. You
right?
celebrate when you will celebrate it.
So what questions do you think we're getting right now?
To cancel Halloween.
Due to COVID, how are you guys handling Halloween? We're not handling Halloween.
We don't want you to tell me what to do, but will you tell me what to do, please?
Yes. No, yeah, exactly, right? Like you have the Patriot, whatever what groups, government. We don't want government involved in anything. Hey, could you tell us how we're supposed to have Halloween?
You don't mind.
So anyway,
That's so
all right. So we're wrapping up our first show.
Yep.
It's going to either absolutely bomb, and you and I are going to look at each other and go, well, we got two people to listen.
Yep.
Because I'm pretty
And
sure
that was
my
me and
wife,
Brian listening.
Well, no, I think a third person. I know one other person that will listen because he's probably similar to me. He has absolutely no life. So, anyway, it's been a great show. At least I think so.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm looking forward to another one. So, we'll podcast 101. We're finally done with that and look forward to our next one. So, appreciate it, Woody.
Thanks, sir. Thank you for having me.
And we're out.